Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, and we are starting Waltz's good ending, so we're just starting to skip through, and now we are coming here. Hold on, stop. Don't wait for me. Okay, ooh. Well, we're not totally aligned perfectly. Oh well, hopefully you don't see any weird, white bar up at the top, but anyway. I'm not sure how long this will take, and I don't want you waiting up like last time. Spacey, you know I don't mind waiting for you. But I do. Waltz furrows his eyebrows at me. Well, if you insist, just don't push yourself too hard, okay? I'll try. Alright. I was worried I might skip because I had started to record this and I got to that choice and I made the choice and then I realized that for some reason, when I was loading the game, I had hovered over the, because there's, the review bar, the maybe later, and there was literally just a box on my freaking computer screen that said maybe later, and I'm it showed up on the game, it showed up, I had to reboot my whole entire computer to get rid of it. It's happened before, but I was really, I don't want to be recording the whole entire game for an hour, and there's just maybe later. Anyway, as soon as I return to the palace, I head back to my room, papers in hand. I enter quietly. The room is still lit, but I'm unsurprised to see Waltz has already fallen asleep. He lies face down on the bed, feet dangling off the edge. It looks as if he collapsed in a fit of exhaustion. I don't regret telling him not to wait up for me. Magic lessons are tiring. He really needed the rest. I smile as I walk over to the bed and carefully throw a blanket over Waltz. I lean down to plant a soft kiss on his forehead. Sleep well, Waltz. Boop. La la la, here we go. We are going to stay and watch. I seat myself on a bench and watch Waltz tell a story. Today it's a tale about a mighty knight and a fierce dragon. A gaggle of children sit in a circle around him, completely absorbed. The children really do love him. Half an hour passes. At the end of the performance, the children swarm Waltz, clinging to him and begging for another story. Sorry, guys, but it's a little too late for another. The children groan and mutter dishearteningly. I promise I'll make the next story even more exciting. But for now, you should be getting back to your parents so they don't worry. I head over to the booth after the children have scattered, leaning over to look at Waltz, who's on the other side dismantling it. Hey, you. Waltz startles. Spacey, what are you doing here? I heard you were doing a show, so I came to watch. I loved the part where you roared like a dragon. Waltz laughs a little abashedly. I'll have you know I've been perfecting that roar for a while. He looks at me, curious. I would have invited you out, but I thought you had paperwork to handle. I did, but Em insisted I take a break, so here I am. She must have been very convincing. He rises, materials in hand. You should have told me you were here. I would have found a way to incorporate you into the show. The children love it when you show up as my assistant. It's been a long time since I helped Waltz with one of his shows. I miss it. Yeah, and so if we wandered around, that's when we get that candy apples and then we bring them for the kids, you know. You were having so much fun, I didn't want to interrupt. And next time you should. As a performer, I love working with spontaneity. Next time, then. See, and I kind of feel like if I had gone through this and I didn't have a guide, I might have said stay and watch. We just walk around town as opposed to staying and supporting him. You know what I mean? Sitting here, unless he was always oh my God, no, don't ever watch me perform. It makes me embarrassed. Then you'd be walk around town because he doesn't want you watching. But to me, stay and watch seems more I'm going to sit here and I'm going to support him by watching his performance. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have known that, okay, walking around town, you get the apples, and then you do this, until you're reading this, and then he's oh, you should have just jumped in on the show, and then you're I feel like that's the game being you should have chosen the other choice. You know what I mean? Anyway. I hold out my hand and help Waltz up. Shall we head back? Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sing me a song. I'm not singing. Me? Sing? I smile at him playfully. Aren't you a performer? A performer of a different variety. He mumbles something beneath his breath. Waltz, are you embarrassed? Not embarrassed so much as horrified. I can't sing to save my life. I laugh into his chest. I feel like I've failed you. I kiss him gently on the shoulder. What, for not being talented at everything? I try my best, little star. I don't need a lullaby, Waltz. I don't need anything at all. Being here with you is good enough. And I'm the luckiest woman in the world. We kind of are, though. He's such a fucking gem. We are going to protest. I can't afford to take a break, Waltz. I have far too much to do. And you can't tell me to take time off when you won't do the same. Miss Spacey, it's not like this is a competition. I promise, everything will be fine. You always say that. That everything will be fine. Not everyone could be as nonchalant as you, Waltz. Oh god, this right now, you're like, oh, this sounds like the bad choice. I mean, I know we're going to get a good ending, not the best ending. It's still not going to be bad, but it sounds like we headed toward a bad ending, though. Like, not everyone could be as nonchalant as you. And then we just... Yikes. The words come out more clipped than I anticipated. Waltz looks shocked. Spacey, I'm not dismissing your enormous workload. I'm just trying to make it more bearable for you to tackle. Is there anything I can do? I want to help. I sigh. No, Waltz, you're already doing enough. I'm just kidding. I know that's not how she says it, but... No, Waltz, you're already doing enough. Then how can I... Let me do my work at my own pace. I appreciate you trying to help me, truly. But taking a break will only stress me further, Waltz. I know myself best. Of course. In true Waltz fashion, he seems to shake off all the negativity easily enough. So? Okay. Oh, I know you'd rather get some work done, but I really think the bath will help you relax now. I sigh. If you insist. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was belittling your efforts in any way, Spacey. No, I spoke too sharply. I'm sorry, Waltz. It's... the negative energy from the Tenebrarum. I know. It could be that, or it could be my sleeplessness. Either way, Waltz doesn't deserve those harsh words. He's only trying to help after all. So it is kind of funny because she was being like really like, oh my god, stop hassling me. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Which I like, but it's still funny. I appreciate you trying to help, Waltz. Waltz smiles feebly. Always. I said I'd always be by your side, remember? I could never forget. Except for that time when I did. Anyway. I spend the morning reviewing important paperwork from the royal advisors. At first, it's not so difficult. I'm used to sifting through all this jargon after all. But I underestimate how complex the proposed policies are, and eventually, the words begin to blur as a headache throbs at my temples. Why must this be so needlessly complicated? I glance up when the clock sounds. Oh, Jurian, when are you getting married? Ha ha ha, now we're going to the graves and we're going to visit his family. We apologize. I've apologized to him so many times. Always he waves those apologies away, but in the wake of Mother's death, I'm the only one who can try to make things right. I'm sorry, Waltz. Spacey, please. You should never feel like you have to apologize for your mother. For years, the townspeople thought I was just like her. But you're not. Perhaps, but that link to her, I still feel it, Waltz. For years I've apologized for my mother. I smile, a little warily. I have become accustomed to it. I have a responsibility to uphold my father's legacy, but also to right my mother's wrongs. Waltz frowns at me. No, you don't. He looks angry. Oh, look at his angry, beautiful face. You're your own person, Spacey. Your legacy is your own. Somehow, this has become about me, even though I was trying to make him feel better. Please, no apologies, okay? Boop. I know you said you were busy earlier, but this won't take up too much time, I promise. Much to my chagrin, I find I can't resist his adorable, endearing smile. Fine, if you insist. Okay, so now we go to this beautiful romantic spot. Oh, this is where kids, children. No children. I know it's an irresponsible answer. There needs to be an heir to the throne after all, but... Walt, how am I to know if I'll be a good mother? My own parents were rarely there for me in the ways that mattered most. What if I'm just like them? I can barely keep my own priorities straight, even now. to be fair, okay, to both parents, to be fair to her mother, she was kind of taken over by the Tenebrarum, right? And kind of became evil. But she was actually a decent person before that. But she couldn't handle the weight of it, and that made her an evil, nasty bitch, and then she was a terrible mother. Kind of. I mean, she loved us, but she kind of, like, loved us in a bitchy, evil way, and taught us some bad shit, so, okay. But, like, more of a benefit for our father here. He was lied to, manipulated, and, like, basically, didn't she, like, con him into a marriage? She didn't, like, woo him. She, like, put a spell on him or whatever. So, he kind of, I mean, I can kind of understand in your father's case why he was, like, keeping away and being a shit father because, like, he didn't love your mother. She conned him, and then you were kind of acting like her, and he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong, but I'm just saying it's a little more understandable to me. I don't know. Even though her mother, yes, the power was what corrupted her, but it was still like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, you're just like, she was evil, but we're supposed to think she's evil, even though, okay, yes, she might have been nice to begin with, and the Tenebrarum kind of fucked with her head, and then she became evil, but she's still, like, the evil in this. And you know what I mean? And, like, the father is like, okay, yeah, he did some bad things, but you kind of understand where he's coming from and why he felt that way and why he fucked up, and he kind of made amends for that and tried to fix it. Where the mother is like, I mean, she didn't really get a chance, she died, but, like, she was still evil before she, you know what I mean? She was evil to the end, so we're not supposed to feel sorry for her at all, even though logically you're like, it wasn't really her fault. It's not like she was always a bitch and the Tenebrarum just enhanced the bitch. It was like, she was nice, and then she did some bitchy shit, and we hate her now. Like, anyway. So, we can't really blame our parents in a way for being assholes, because they got reasons why they were assholes, but anyway. I'm scared. Waltz presses a hand to my cheek and gently turns my face toward him. Good lord. You can never be like your mother, Spacey. You know what it's like to yearn for a better life. I know you wouldn't make someone else live that life. And don't forget, I'll be here with you every step of the way. It sounds like you're trying to force children on me, Waltz, and I said I didn't want any. God. Just kidding. Kidding. Perhaps someday then. If I'm to bring a child into the world, I want to make sure it's the safest world I can create. I want to be ready for that kind of responsibility. I really hope, like, look, it's great. We had an ever after story for this. I don't want another one if they're going to be like, now look, it's babies. Please don't fucking do that to me. Like that, like, I hate to say it, but if that's like, if they ever made like a third one of these, like a fan kind of thing, and it was like, well, now here's you with your family and your kids, I'm going to nope out of that. Probably not going to play it because I don't like kids. So that to me ruins the story. Even the talking about it is like, you bring in the, like, no. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I'm reading, and I'm like, I don't want that. I know that she's a princess. She kind of has to. You know that, but I still don't want to talk. Don't talk about it. Let me just pretend it's not a thing that I have to deal with. You know? Anyway. We are supposed to agree. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't speak to everyone. Waltz is right. It's not my responsibility to speak directly with criminals until they're put on trial. And I'm more than happy to interrogate the witches with Delora and deliver the reports myself. Cinna scoffs. You'll never solve the problem like that. You're the one who's meant to lead the witches, Your Majesty. Spacey isn't just the Tenebrarum bearer. She's the Queen of Angeal. She's a lot more to balance than just her obligations to the witches. It takes a group effort, Cinna. A group effort. It's true, Mother ruled on her own. Everything she wanted, she took. I'd never make such momentous decisions without conferring with those I trust. But it's undeniable that some witches see me as a usurper. Even if the Tenebrarum did accept me all those years ago, I have to prove to them that I do hear them, somehow. Spacey, why do you have that look on your face? It's because she knows I'm right. It may take a group effort, but a group still needs a leader. I think Cinna brought up a good point today, but let's not forget he doesn't know what your workload is like. I sigh. Please, Waltz, let me make my own decisions. If interrogating these criminals is too time-consuming a task for me, or yields no results, then I'll leave it to you and the other witches. But for now, let us work for the witches together, Waltz. When I said I wanted to spend more time with you, this isn't what I had in mind. La la la, now there's a thing, and we're talking to the witch. Burning, blah blah blah. We're like, that's none of your business. I came here to speak with you about your crimes. So you'll turn a blind eye to blood already spilled because you prefer ignorance? The longer I speak with this man, the more irritated I become. I pinch the bridge of my nose and let out a sigh. I'm done speaking about this. If Lady Hilda had still been queen, she wouldn't have turned away from all this. She was and will always be stronger than you, halfling. He has some nerve. It's all I can do to brush off his words. If you'll not speak to me about the arson attack, we're done here. The witch turns away with a scoff. Alright. Chat with Jorina Garland, talk to... Now we're going here. No! Disagree. We already know what my response is to that. I know. It meant the world to me that you thought I was one of the good witches, even back when we were children. Yeah, you were a child, though! Again! You were just a baby! Even if I was lying to you. Waltz, I was a child. We were both children. I would never begrudge you keeping those things a secret from me to protect me. But now I'm older, wiser. I know what it is my mother did and what you had to suffer at her hands. Please, never feel like you must keep me in the dark. Understood? And then, yep. I will show them I'm better than my mother! Spacey, the corrupted witches are few and far between. You have the support of most of us. You were chosen by the Tenebrarum, after all. Even so, it means nothing if I'm not actively showing the witches what I'm doing to help them. Besides, the town people often forget I myself am a witch. I think it'd be good to remind them, I'm assuming, that remind them I have that blood in my veins. I think that's a good idea. But I also think you don't need to compare yourself to your mother. People know you're better than Hilda, Spacey. You saved Angel from her. You work with Parfait to bring this conflict to an end. But I'm still her daughter. That has no bearing on the situation. You inherited the Tenebrarum from her, maybe, but you couldn't be any more different from her.
Oh, what? You see Birdie that's high? Does he get spooked? Did you get spooked? You're fine.
Still, my mother actively sought out the counsel of other witches and made an effort to hear them. I feel I should do the same thing, just in a different way. It sounds like you have a lot more than a speech in mind. Okay. La la la. Talking around, blah blah blah. We're gonna go... Oh, look! And then we're gonna give our chocolate to the princes. I pulled the chocolate box out of the bag and set it on the table. You can have these chocolates. Your Majesty, we can't accept this. It's a gift. There's no need to worry. It's not a gift for Waltz. Consider this my spontaneous welcome treat. Are you sure, darling? Would you refuse a gift from a queen? Never. Thank you, Spacey. Yes, thank you very much, Queen Spacey. While the two princes express their gratitude, Cinna leans forward and takes a truffle from the box. He pops it into his mouth without ceremony. Cinnamon! Is this from that stall with the chocolate flower on display? He pauses to consider. It's good, but nothing like the chocolatier they have in the Western Plaza. You can't just go around trying other people's gifts, Cinna. There's more than enough here for everyone! So here we go. We go out, but we don't. So I must use a shield. We're gonna do this is the wrong one. It's the first answer that pops into my head. After all, I've been conditioned to use shields far more than deflectors, which can harm people. I cast my barrier just in time as Waltz's magic comes rushing toward me, but now we look like an idiot because we did it wrong. I hold my ground as the magic touches my barrier and doesn't even leave a dent. I sigh inwardly. I should have used a deflector for that one, most likely. Even Waltz looks a little surprised. I know! I hate this! We're the queen, and we're the Tenebrer Bear. We're not supposed to be this dumb, and everybody makes mistakes, but it's like, oh, we look so dumb in front of a bunch of fucking kids, and kids are stupid. Like, I just ruined his lesson, didn't I? But Waltz is good at improvising. He knows how to make my mistake a part of the lesson. Do y'all see what the queen did? She used a shield to show us that the spell I cast was a weak one. You see how it didn't leave a single dent in her barrier? And that means she could have used a deflector. But he holds up a finger. It's better to avoid deflectors altogether if you can. Reflecting someone's magic back at them is dangerous. Overall, a barrier is the best way to keep others from being hurt. So good, he spun it and we're like, oh, we look so dumb. Understand? Although, even though when we did use the deflector, which is the right answer, or the correct answer for the quiz here, pop quiz, right? He just said the same thing, like, deflectors can be dangerous. So it's kind of like we used a deflector, but in a way, a shield is better because we could have hurt him by using a deflector. But we knew he was only using weak magic, but still. The children all nod and begin to mumble amongst each other. Waltz turns to me. Making me think on my toes tonight, I see. Yes, that's exactly what I meant to do. Alright. The reason you use a shield tonight, stage fright? He says it jokingly, but the words still make me blush. It's been a long time since I've cast a deflector. My apologies for forgetting in the moment. You don't need to apologize, little star. I still got a great lesson out of it. He steps forward, closing the distance between us. It was great to have you here. It reminds me of simpler times. Simpler times when the two of us were focused entirely on magic and what the next day would bring. We were so focused on the present then, it was difficult to consider the far future. And now all we ever think about is the future. Do you think so? I think we don't think on it enough. Waltz looks at me, curious. This is where we're going to give him our ring in a minute. Oh? Why do you say that? Okay, now we give him our bag. Look, it's a ring! Propose! Oh, but we were already married, but it's okay. But not, look, there's our wedding! Did you see it? Propose! There's a wedding! It was like a blink and a miss it. Fuck. There was nothing you could have done. Are you regretting the past again? Waltz holds up his hand in surrender. In all fairness, I can't control what I dream about. I hope you realize you had nothing to do with Myth's corruption. My mother was using you both as pawns. You didn't have a choice in the matter. No, we didn't. Hildur knew exactly how to manipulate us. Don't look so sad, little star. There's no changing the past, but we can both do our best to enact change in the future, right? Right. I have faith in that future. I have faith that your future, our future, will be a bright one, and we already read that the last time, so I'm like, whatever. Cares if I just tripped over that and it sounded stupid as shit. Literally everything I say comes out of my mouth sounds stupid as shit. I don't believe that's true. Everything I do is a step toward obtaining peace. If anyone can bring about peace, it's Her Majesty. The witch scoffs. You're both foolish. You could try all you like to broker peace, but you'll never obtain it. Mark my words. Think what you will of my efforts, but I don't think it's foolish to hope. Croissants. Fitzgerald mentioned that Fitzgerald. Why do I say Fitz? I can't because Fritz is weird. Fitzgerald mentioned that there were some chocolate almond croissants in the stall by the fountain. Fitzgerald, are you talking to him about the promotion today? Something like that. Waltz raises an eyebrow. What? We weren't having an affair. God, just because I'm going to leave you for him. Seriously, in the next part, we're going to be leaving Waltz for Fritz. I've tried a lot of things over the years, but never a chocolate almond croissant. Then this will be a good opportunity to do so. I take Waltz's hands and pull him toward the central plaza. It's not difficult to spot the stall Fritz mentioned. The floral top stands out amidst all the other plain colors, and the shelves are filled with delicious-looking croissants. My mouth waters as we approach. The croissants are dusted with sugar and look both flaky and soft. They're big enough to share. Your Majesty! The stall owner bows as I approach. Your speech today was inspiring. She glances at Waltz. As was yours, Lord Waltz. Thank you. Are you here today for a croissant? The woman gestured towards her mouth-watering display. And take whatever you like. I perused the shelves intently. There is an assortment of flavors I've never tried before. Croissants containing all manner of chocolates and jams and fillings. Is there a peanut butter one? Because that's what I want. We're looking for the almond chocolate, I think. A friend of ours recommended it. The baker smiles broadly. Your friend wouldn't happen to be Lord Fitzgerald, would it? The woman laughs at my surprise. He's here all the time that night. I'm selling out here today, but normally I sell croissants out of my shop. Sir Fitzgerald is one of my best customers. The baker hands us a wrapped croissant. She refuses payment when I try to give it to her. Please, this is the least I can offer you, Your Majesty. Waltz and I sit by the fountain to share our dessert. He looks thoughtful as he rips a piece of the croissant off. He pops the piece into his mouth and after a few moments sighs contentedly. This is delicious. I take a bite of the croissant and marvel at the buttery softness of it. The taste is exquisite. It's making me fucking hungry and I want a croissant now. This really is amazing. Maybe since I've shared enough of my favorites, we should ask around for recommendations from others. But you give the best recommendations. There's always room for more, though. After the two of us finish our dessert, Walt stands and offers me a hand. Okay, there we go. Now we go into the merchant. Oh, look, everyone's here! Protect our kingdom. I will always be with you. I still have a long way to go before I become the ruler Angel needs, but I'm proud of my progress. I hope you're proud of me too, Father. I kind of almost wish, though, that the skipping would, at least pause for the title cards for the chapter and then go back, because you miss the chapter 6 title card, especially when you're skipping like this. And then you're like, now we're in chapter 6, but you missed the title. You know what I mean? I stand before Father's coffin, fingers resting on the majestic statue posed behind it. I angle my head up to look at Father's face, at the likeness forever captured in stone. He looks tranquil. Spacey? Waltz still stands by the entrance where he's been waiting for me. Now I realize he's no longer alone. Hello, dear. Hello, Ophelia. Are you here to speak with Father? I can leave if that's the case. Oh no, please stay. I cast a look back at Waltz. He just smiles and shrugs, which I take as a sign that we still have some time before today's excursion. Ophelia sets a white lily on the coffin. I assume it's from the anniversary celebration a few days back. Hello, dear. You missed a wonderful anniversary celebration last week. I'm sure Spacey's already filled you in on most of the details, but I wonder if she's told you yet that she's recently married. I already told him that. Ophelia laughs. Good. I thought he'd enjoy the story more coming from you. The two of us stand there for a few moments, looking quietly at the stone statue of my father. Ophelia sets her hand on the statue's foot, a forlorn look in her eyes. He would have been so happy to be at your wedding, Spacey. I wish he could have been. Back when he was alive, not a day went by that he didn't speak about how much he wished he could reconnect with you. And I shunned him. He never held that against you, Spacey. He blamed himself for distancing himself for all those years. He called it his greatest mistake. He was smiling in the end, wasn't he, when he passed? Tears come to my eyes, unbidden. I wipe at them hastily with the back of my hand. He entrusted me with the kingdom and said he would always be with me. How I wish we could have spent more time together before you passed, Father. Spacey. Ophelia sets a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. Gennaro is proud of you. Of that I'm certain. How do you know? Because I'm proud of you, and we agreed on almost everything. The words infuse me with warmth. I wipe the last of the tears from my eyes and smile. The effort's much belated, but I'm glad we could talk like this, Ophelia. Likewise. It's an honor to be here for the Queen of Angel. She steps away, a thoughtful look on her face as she glances between Waltz and I. You have somewhere to be, don't you? I won't keep you. Thank you, Ophelia. There's no need to thank me, dear. You know I'll always be here if you need me. The last thing I see before I leave the room is Ophelia's fond smile, trained on my father's coffin. The love she has for my father shines unfettered in her eyes. I see now their love was true. I'm glad they had each other. Waltz offers his hand as I near the exit. And I'm glad I have Waltz. I couldn't imagine ruling Angeal without him. The two of us walked through the tunnels until we reached the surface. Thank you for waiting for me. Of course. Next time I speak to Father, you ought to join in. I think he'd appreciate hearing your perspective on things. My perspective? On events like the wedding. Oh? All I'd be doing is telling him how beautiful you looked on the altar, the way your eyes glimmered when you took my hands, and your cheeks became all rosy when I leaned forward to... Never mind! Waltz laughs. Your embarrassment is endearing as always. We turn from one corridor to the next and nearly bump into two familiar faces in passing. Jurian and Garland? Oh, nope, Emmeline. And Lance? Spacey! Oh no, it's just Emmeline and Rod. Okay, I'm just totally wrong. Just fuck me, I guess. I don't know. Well, it's two familiar faces and I just assumed a couple. And then when it was Emmeline, I was like, it's probably fucking Rod, but anyway. Aren't you both supposed to be in town? Well, hello to you too. Good afternoon. Sorry, Spacey, we've been... Searching for the princes? Rod puts a hand to his forehead and sighs. Apparently they challenged each other to a very serious game of chess this morning. And they said it was a brotherly tournament and they didn't want spectators, but... Em wants to watch Prince Lance play. You're curious too, Rod. I am, but I'm going to watch the game, not a certain someone. Rod, are you in it for Miss Karma? Stay away from my woman. My man-woman. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Stay away from him, he's mine. That's not fair. Regardless of the reasons, it sounds like a good time. It will be. Do you want to join us? Unfortunately not. It's about time Spacey and I set up for a show. We're doing a puppet show. Oh, well, maybe next time then. I think it'd be nice if we all sat down to a game before Rod and I left. Things have been so busy recently that I forgot about Emmeline and Rod's imminent departure. Rod's imminent departure! I can't read! Anyway. For the last few days, the two of them have been preparing to go to Brigantia for a one-month vacation. They'll be gone within the week. When I insisted Ophelia go with them, she declined, insisting she wanted to stay here to help me run things. I'd like that very much. And then we'll talk to the princes about it. Emmeline grabs Rod by the sleeve and tugs him forward. Come, we have to find them before the game ends. Otherwise you won't be able to cheer on Prince Lance. You'll just have to cheer for Prince Claude to balance things out. Rod releases a long-suffering sigh as Emmeline lugs him behind her. She turns back only once to wave at us before disappearing down the corridor. And things are going to be less lively without them here. I agree. Walt smiles at me. The curl of his lips is alarmingly mischievous. What? I was just thinking how much livelier these halls would be with children. Yeah, okay! Simmer it down! Every time he mentions children, I become flustered. As we take steps to make our ideal future a reality, we come closer every day to the possibility of having children, but it will be someday. No, you ruined it, Waltz! We were having a good time! Waltz nods. Indeed. I'm not ready for children. Not ever. She said yeah, but ever. Waltz is, as always, extremely laissez-faire about the situation. I'm relieved he never pushes me to go beyond whatever pace I feel comfortable with. Waltz holds out his arm. I rest my hand in the crook of his elbow and let him lead me into town. The lily decorations from a few days ago still litter the plaza when we arrive. It looks as if the town has survived a storm of flower petals. It's beautiful. I was just thinking, like, that sounds nice. Waltz and I wave to the townspeople as we wander. Knights trail us from a distance, watching the proceedings with smiles on their faces. They only pause when someone rushes towards us. Your Majesty! Okay, no, it's a witch. I just figured it was a kid, but anyway. A witch, a familiar face, stands before me. Good day, Your Majesty! This witch is one of the candidates who came to speak with me in the throne room about the council position a few days ago. For years, she owned a potion shop in Angeal and came to the tavern to discuss important political affairs with Delora and Parfait. Good day. How can I help you? The witch looks jittery, but less so with nerves and excitement. I received your correspondence the other day. Ah, that. Your Majesty, I am honored you selected me to serve on your council. The witch curtsies low before me. Please, that's unnecessary. It'll be my honor to have you. Last night, Waltz and I were up late looking through vetted applications for the council positions. We sent letters to those we knew were immediately qualified for the job. This witch was one of them. She received personal recommendations from Delora and many other witches working around the palace. I wanted to thank you in person, but I can't put into words how grateful I am. Please, you don't need to thank me. I'm looking forward to working with you during our upcoming meeting. Likewise. The witch bows to me again and then to Waltz. You've come a long way, Waltz Cresswell. I owe it all to Spacey. She's my greatest inspiration. You give me too much credit. Nonsense. Oh, that's Waltz. I see the W and I automatically thought it was the witch. Look, I knew this was going to happen. Nonsense. It's the truth. The witch excuses herself with another deep curtsy before leaving us. You saved Angeal all those years ago without my help, you know. But you were the driving force behind that goal. You always have been, Spacey. Waltz leads us the rest of the way to the plaza and to a very familiar booth. Cinna stands beside the puppet booth, a hand on his hip. He's surrounded by children, all of whom clap and cheer when Waltz appears. Cinna glares daggers at us. You owe me for this! Of course. If you stay through the show, I'll buy you a cinnamon roll afterwards for setting things up for us. And Cinna's like, what? Just because my name's Cinnamon doesn't mean I like cinnamon rolls. It'd be so funny, though. Like, it's cute that he loves cinnamon rolls. But it's so funny. I'll buy you a cinnamon roll. Just because my name is Cinnamon doesn't mean I like cinnamon. I fucking hate it. I'm allergic to it. God, jerks. Be kind of funny. Was that not the deal? Fine. Cinna hops out the word before turning to join the beginning to gather? Cinna hops out the word before turning to join I'm getting the children or the people beginning to gather. I think we're missing a word there. This is Walt's performance time. They know to expect him here at this time on this day. But it's been a long time since I, his assistant, have joined him. Waltz gestures me behind the booth and hands me a puppet as I slide in next to him. You ready for this, little star? I'll follow your lead, Waltz. And then let's begin. Oh my god, are we going to get a CG of them in the puppet booth? It's going to be adorable. Waltz draws back the curtains on his booth and smiles broadly as the audience claps. Hello, everyone. I, Waltz, am here once again to share another story with you. Today I'll be joined by my most spectacular assistant, Queen Spacey, the Tenebrarum bearer. There are more cheers and excited chatter. It's been a while since I joined Waltz here. I hope I don't disappoint. Today we'll be telling you the story of the Witch Queen, a kind-hearted woman who faced and overcame many obstacles. I held up my puppet. It is, embarrassingly, a puppet I made to look like me. I want that to be our CG. I just want it to be a Spacey and Waltz puppet. I just need it. Before, Waltz used puppets to tell me stories. He thought this would be a great way to help children understand my story. I agreed to help him act out the story, but on the condition he share his story as well. I watch now as Waltz takes out his own puppet. One I haphazardly sewed to look like him. The two of us worked on them quickly during our recent break. They're not the most well-made creations, but they'll suffice. Please God. Okay, it's good enough. Okay, they should have had hair or something, but it's just fucking adorable. Oh, I wanted something a little bit different in the puppets, but still, we got to see the puppets. That's all that matters. Oh God. Waltz leads close enough to whisper to me, Don't be nervous, little star. I'm not nervous. Waltz squeezes my hand beneath the booth. Here we go. The story opens up in the palace with a young witch who has just lost everything. His family, his home, his heart. But the witch meets a princess that helps guide him to find happiness again. Missing a lot of words here. Even though my memories of the past are muddy, I find myself speaking clearly and without hesitation during the puppet show. I play my role well enough that people are entranced. But then I realize, this isn't a role. This is me. For the first time, I'm telling people my story. Many other characters make an appearance in the puppet show, including a snarky witch mentor and a kind fairy with an enchanted broom. It's a long show. By the time we're done, the moon hangs in the sky, and we're using lantern light to illuminate our stage. And in the end, the witch and the princess lived happily ever after. The response is startling. I look up to see that the crowd has doubled in size over the last few hours. People sit on benches and tables, on chairs, and on the edge of the fountain. I feel suddenly exposed, like I've bared my heart. But I also feel free. You okay, little star? More than okay. I think this might be the happiest I've ever been. Waltz slides toward me and, in clear view of everyone, places a tender kiss on my lips. Aww. Glad to hear it, my queen. And what about you? Couldn't be better. The two of us stand to take a bow. Waltz, the future king of Angeal, and I, the queen of Angeal, bowing before our citizens. I may be queen, but I'm only here because they've accepted me. I smile as their applause grows louder, until it fills the streets and beats in time with my own excited heartbeat. I still have a long way to go as a ruler, but with Waltz by my side, I'm optimistic about all the good we can do. I glance up at the stars scattered across the ebony sky. Do you see me, father? Mother? The crescendo again. I won't stop working to protect the people you cared so deeply about. I promise. Waltz squeezes my hand again. It's my final cue. I turn to my audience, my people, with a smile, and I take one final bow. Thank you all for accompanying me on this journey. It's literally almost like a thank you, game's done. The end. I love the little puppets. Story time. That's so cute. And there we go. So I wonder, I'm assuming, again, we'll probably have here, I'm going to guess, is where Fritz's is going to go. And this is like that's the canon. And obviously he's like the first one, but we saw all of our thing. Oh, here's our puppets. So here we go. But yeah, so that was Waltz's route. We're done. And we will start Fritz's route. I just kind of went with the order that was in the guide. You know, it was just easier. Even though Waltz is technically, I really definitely feel like he's the canon boy. I don't think there's any argument about that. I don't think it's like, I kind of feel like he is. Everyone's like, yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious. So, but yeah, so there's that. And then we will, like I said, do Fritz's route in the next part. We'll start it there. And yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.